There's a lot of discourse in the Yu-Gi-Oh community these days. When's the next ban list? Does prizing suck? How little showering can I get away with? And I think it's time I do something about it. Let's argue. Since its release back in 2015, Galaxy Soldier has held the honour of being considered part of the Cyber Dragon family. A light attribute, level 5 machine type monster that can special summon itself. That sounds pretty familiar. But with the release of Infinite Forbidden, only some 9 years later, we've now received a new card that could rival Soldado de la Galaxia. Enter the Diablast, a shiny new card with a name like an expert level marital aid. Disablaster, the negation fortress, is our light attribute, level 5 machine type monster that can special summon itself. But which one is better? Let's argue. Let's start with Galaxy Soldier. 2000 attack, 0 defense, and an effect that reads: Puedes mande el cementerio otro monstruo de los entomano. Sorry, there was still Spanish in here. How did that happen? Yeah, so you can send one other light monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand in defense position. When this card is special summoned, you can add one Galaxy monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Galaxy Soldier once per turn. That's the adding, not the special summoning. So let's break it down. 2000 attack isn't too shabby for a special summon. That's good. But it summons in defense mode when it's got 0 defense. That's bad. It does have a fairly specific discard cost of a light monster. But in Cyber Dragon, this isn't a true negative, as the deck is entirely light monsters, except for the Cyber Darks, but we don't talk about those. Discarding Cyber Dragon Hers replaces the discard cost, however, by Hers adding a Cyber Dragon from deck or graveyard to hand when it's discarded or sent to the graveyard anyway. This card economy gets even better when you see that Soldado de la... this is Spanish again. Galaxy Soldier can search another copy of itself on summon. The discard cost has to go to the graveyard. In a format where you're either Snake Eyes or running Dimensional Shifter, being able to activate Soldier Boy is starting to look a little unlikely. Also, Galaxy Soldier activates its 2 effects. Both effects activate. The first in hand to summon, and the second on field to search for another copy, allowing for your opponent to interact with it not once, but twice. Yes, the search effect can be chain blocked by Cyber Dragon Hers hitting the graveyard, but if your opponent negates and destroys it in hand, you've lost 2 cards technically. So while not fantastic, you can see why Galaxy Soldier has been seen as a must-play extender in Cyber Dragon since its release, which really says more for the quality of main deck Cyber Dragon cards than it does for itself. Now in the red corner we have Disablaster, 500 attack, 2000 defense, and an effect that reads: Pendulum effect. Oh yeah, this is a pendulum monster too. Negate any card's effect activated in this card's column. Monster effect. If there is a column with no cards, you can special summon this card from your hand to your zone in that column. You can only special summon Disablaster, the Negation Fortress, once per turn this way. Negate any card effects activated in this card's column. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card in your Pendulum zone. The Pendulum effect has niche applications against Pendulum and back row heavy decks, but neither of those decks see any real play, so it's kind of just meh. But negation of any type is welcome, especially in a deck like Cyber Dragon. Well, we're really scraping the cyber barrel here, aren't we? Its special summon effect is where it gets interesting though. Like original Cyber Dragon, it doesn't activate. As long as there is a column with no cards, just place it lovingly on the field and give it a little kiss maybe. Fun things can be done with this, however. Like if you're forced to go first, you can summon a monster to one extra monster zone, and then special summon this under the other extra monster zone, meaning anything your opponent summons in that extra monster zone is going to be negated. Not bad. The real reason you would consider running Disablaster over Galaxy Soldier is its attack points. 500 attack isn't going to take down anything bigger than a Bite Shoes, but it does mean that you can use machine duplication on it. I'll admit, I wasn't a fan of machine duplication before, even cutting it down to as much as one copy and relying on Triple Tactics Thrust to search it rather than something like actually game-breaking like Raigeki. But now with a second target for it, the argument can be made for running 3 copies again. With a realistic setup of Cyber Dragon in your graveyard, Disablaster and machine duplication in hand, you can end on either 2 rank 5s or a rank 5 and an Cyber Dragon Infinity, or a rank 5 Cyber Dragon Infinity and SP Little Knight, or any other Link 2 of your choosing. Last niche effect though, to squeeze in, like a little bit of Christmas pud. Because it's a pendulum, when it gets destroyed, it can go to the top of the extra deck, meaning late game Pots of Prosperity have an extra bit of fuel when resources are running low. It's pretty, not bad. It's a little par even. So which do I think is better? Whilst Galaxy Soldier and its discard cost are both highly searchable in Cyber Dragon, I do feel that Disablaster is the way going forward. You could run both, but you want some hand traps and some non-engine and cards that do stuff. The extra negation is handy on Disablaster though. The 0 cost to summon, except for being a bit more situational, was nice, and no effects to trigger responses from your opponent is great as well. It also comes in an affordable quarter-century rare as well. I don't see Galaxy Soldier doing that, but what do you think? Let's argue in the comments below. But until then, adios muchachos. Oh, there's that. I can't.